My friends, this week in synagogues across the world, we begin reading the book of Leviticus. Now, I know Leviticus doesn't usually top the bestseller lists, even among its biblical peers. But let me assure you, there's far more revolutionary content packed in this book than first meets the eye. In fact, Leviticus might be the most radically democratic book in the entire Hebrew Bible. Why so radical? Well, consider its name. In Greek, Leviticus means pertaining to the Levites, the priestly class. And in Hebrew, one of its designations is Torat Kohanim, literally the instructions for the priests. Naturally, you would expect the book to address priests directly from the start. Yet here's the surprise. It opens with God instructing Moses to speak to all of Israel. Speak to the children of Israel, say to them, when any person, Adam in Hebrew, brings an offering, this is what's to be done. The passage that follows describes exactly how that person, yes, an ordinary layperson, lays hands on the animal, slaughters it, and performs much of the rituals in the temple or tabernacle courtyard. In other words, while ancient Israel did have a hereditary priestly caste, think of all those you know with the last name Cohen, much of what we would assume a priest alone would handle was actually entrusted to regular folks. This, in the context of the ancient world, was nothing short of revolutionary. Think about how this stacked up against other ancient religions 3,000 years ago. The Egyptian Book of the Dead gave a stern warning to priests. Do not show this text to anyone, not to your father, not to your son. It is for you alone. That was Egyptian religion from which Israel escaped. Similarly, in the wider Mesopotamian context, priests of Anu, Enlil, or Au, Ea would face harsh penalties if he shared sacred details with commoners. Indeed, most lay people in those cultures weren't allowed the holy action. They'd often drop off their goat at the temple gate, and some robed figure behind a heavy door would do the rest, leaving worshippers to guess what really happened inside. Leviticus flips the script. Everyone has a right to enter the temple courtyard. Everyone has the right, and often the obligation, to know exactly what was being done. Leviticus addressed the entire children of Israel again and again. God says to Moses, speak to the entire congregation. When it came time for the Passover lamb, for example, every head of household was expected to participate by bringing and slaughtering their own offering. This wasn't simply a religious gesture, it was a statement about individual and communal empowerment. In Leviticus, religion is democratized. Every Israelite is on some level a priest, responsible for cultivating his or her relationship with the divine. Now, this speaks to one of the most puzzling aspects of Israelite peoplehood. What does it mean that the Jewish people are chosen, quote unquote? For centuries, seekers, scholars, critics, and the curious have wrestled with this question as it holds the key to unlocking, as if it holds the key to unlocking some cosmic mystery. Why would God single out one small nation among all the others? Is it favoritism, destiny, or something else entirely? The answer, like so many biblical truths, can be found in Scripture itself. In Exodus chapter 19, where we read that Israel is to become a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Those are the exact words, kingdom of priests and a holy nation. In other words, to be chosen is to be set apart for the purpose of worshiping God, a job that belongs not to a narrow caste, but to everyone, women and men, children or elderly. Everyone is part of this ongoing covenant. It is less about standing atop a pedestal and more about standing at the foot of a holy mountain, sleeves rolled up and ready to serve. Picture the Israelites at the base of Mount Sinai, as Exodus 19 describes, having just escaped Egypt's chains. God effectively says to Moses, let them know these commandments won't be easy. They'll be challenging, life altering, in fact. But if they heed my voice and guard this covenant, they will become a treasure among the nations, a kingdom of priests. Interestingly, in today's monotheistic world, any dedicated person, whether Catholic or Protestant, Jewish or otherwise, who prays and studies sincerely becomes chosen in that same sense. Without the ancient sacrificial system, we connect with God through prayer, through learning, through personal devotion. We might say that anyone who chooses to seek the divine is, in a very real sense, chosen. That's what chosenness is, to relate to God as if one were a priest. And if an entire people commits to this deep relationship with God, well, then you have a nation of priests. You have Israel. So the next time Leviticus shows up in conversation, don't laugh. It might happen. You never know. Remember that beyond all the rules about offerings and sacred fires lies a powerful message. Your relationship with God is not relegated to an exclusive club. Each of us can claim that priestly bond, and each of us is empowered to step forward and discover the divine within ourselves. May we always embrace that sense of responsibility and calling, no matter our background or title. After all, Leviticus teaches that a holy life is a shared project, open to everyone who dares to walk the path. And that, my friends, is a radical idea that is well worth celebrating. Thank you so much.